Hi, talking bees today, bees in the garden. So this is Beekeeping 101, orientation to a hive. So last year, about 9 months ago, a swarm of bees just appeared in this tree. A swarm. What is a swarm? A swarm is about between 10 and 50,000 bees, so a big group of them with a queen. They've just left another hive and they're going off in search of a new place. Might be a new queen, or the old hive wasn't good enough, it could be a split, anything could happen. Anyway, when they're out, they leave an established home and they're going to look for a new place. That's called a swarm, because they go in this big group and they just stick together. A swarm is such a docile thing. You think about a swarm of bees and you panic. A swarm is the nicest possible thing you could ever think of. They have no babies, they have no honey, they've got nothing to worry about. They are so docile. They hang in the tree. So they hung in this tree here. My neighbour, Karen, thank you Karen, gave me this box and helped me to get them out of the tree and just shake them into the box. So we captured the swarm, and that was my introduction to bees. I had thought, maybe I'll get some bees, and all of a sudden I had bees. So again, I was a bit lost, so this is really for anyone who's just thinking about becoming a beekeeper. This is what I wish I could kind of know. Here's the box. The box is called the hive. So you've got the swarm of bees going around. They're looking for somewhere to live. They could live in a cupboard, in a roof, in an awning somewhere, or they could live in a hive box that we create for them. So we've now brought a swarm of bees. They're in this hive box. I then call it my colony of bees. I've got this colony of bees and they're living in this hive box. So what is a hive box? Let's have a look. You've got just the lid here, and then a section here for the frames. This is where the bees come in and out. You can see in the little entry point there. This is a hive tool. They're really good. They've just got the right angles for opening up the box. The bees seal it off with their waxy stuff, and you just use this to wedge the box open. Before you open, generally you give a little puff of smoke to the bees at the entrance there. Not required, it just calms them down. Alright, so let's take the lid off and have a look inside. First thing, nothing to worry about opening a beehive. Bees are very docile creatures usually. If they get scared, they can cause you problems. I haven't got my hood on. That's because just opening up the hive and not disturbing them, really you shouldn't ever expect any problems. I've got it here just in case if there was an accident and I knocked it over, then they might get a bit cranky, but you get notice of that. First thing, bees are friendly, don't expect trouble. Inside the box we've got these frames. So the frame is where the bees build their honeycomb, and it's just a structured way for them to build it. Of course, naturally they'll build it wherever they want, in houses and awnings and eaves, etc. But here's a structured way for them to do it, and an easy way for you to pull out and harvest honey or service the bees. So in a box you'll have a number, depending on the size of the box and the depth, those things can change. This one has 10 frames in it. That's a big box. So the only other thing in this box is a little feeder tray that goes right on top of that. This is a feeding tray. It's for putting extra sugar syrup in there in autumn, winter, spring, when the bees need a little bit of supplement. And there we are. So, if you're thinking of getting bees, go for it. That's all the equipment you'd need to get started. A hive box, the frames that go inside it, some kind of a feeder for autumn and winter. Get that all in a starter kit, if you like, from a bee shop. The little smoker, a tool, and the suit. You'll need some bees, of course. You may not be lucky like me and think about having bees and then bees just appear in your garden. The best way to get involved in bees is to contact your local bee association. There are usually a lot of enthusiastic people there. They're really very helpful. It's like a big family, and there'll be information days, and you can follow a beekeeper around, or there's a lot of good ways of getting into a community and learning like that. It's a lot of fun. There's nothing to be afraid of in bees. They are the nicest little animals, as you can see. You don't need to be totally suited up every time. Headgear and being super careful is when you're actually pulling out frames and taking honey from a hive. You need to be a little bit more careful, or if you're moving hives around. There are times when you obviously need the suit, but in general, the hive in the garden, and if you're just opening it up to check, they are the friendliest of little chaps. They just get on and do their work. They help you, they help the garden. It's really nice to have a whole set of new animals in the garden. They're very interesting in the way they live in a hive, in such a big group, and the way they interact. This is just the basics, orientation to a hive, Beekeeping 101. There are people who dedicate their lives to this kind of thing, just understanding how bees work. Absolutely fascinating. But if you're thinking about it, go for it. Bees are a lot of fun and a great thing to have in the garden.